Hey everyone, I am back. It's Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. I hope that you have had an absolutely positively amazing week. So, thanks for those who are starting to join here. It's Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. Let me know in the chat where you are tuning in from today. Today, I am in the Tampa Bay area of Florida where I reside. Although the summer has been crazy. I don't even know how many cities. I should have counted how many cities I was in this summer. This is like the busiest summer ever. It's like totally insane, but all good, right? Just got back from Atlanta. I'll be leaving again in a couple days to Phoenix. So it's been a crazy summer. And for those of you who tuned in the last couple of weeks here, you know that I went to Bali a couple weeks ago, Bali, Indonesia. Love, 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 love that place so much. And got an opportunity to film my first documentary. I will definitely keep you all in the loop. By the way, there's so much footage. so, so of course I'm working with a team. We're gonna put everything together. And of course, I will share that with you all as soon as it is available. But that was a fun project. I spent some time with my family. Got to speak for an amazing group of leaders out there in Bali. So really great trip. But I'm back in the US of A. Hi, welcome, welcome. Thanks so much for joining here. It's Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. So if you're just now tuning in, let me know in the comments where you happen to be tuning in from today. And again, welcome, especially for the newbies. If you're new to Mental Health Moment, we are here live every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern on Black Women Empowered Incorporated Facebook page, YouTube, and LinkedIn Live. And if you're brand new, this mental health moment with Dr. Hammond is all about how do you work on becoming the best version of who you are so you can show up powerfully for yourself and the people around you. We talk a lot on mental health moment about how to better yourself, different mental wellness strategies, different things that you can try because there's a lot happening in the world. There's a lot of noise, and sometimes we just need some downtime, right? Sometimes we have to work on ourselves to be better, right? So that's what mental health moment is all about. And thanks again for those who are starting to join here. Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. Before I share today's mental health moment, let me share with you a couple of announcements here. Let me make sure I get the dates right for you all. So drnekeshiahammond.com, which is my website right here on the screen, /events is where you can also go to get all the information about upcoming events that I'm speaking at, where I'll be at for all sorts of different purposes and new updates and what's going on in the world. But the next event that I'll be at will be on Saturday, August 23rd, 2025, in case you're watching this video in 2026 or something like that. But August 23rd, 2025, I will be speaking. Hi, thanks for those who are joining here. I'll be speaking it's called the Mind Masters Workshop, which is a free event. It's in the Tampa Bay community and it is for 6th through 8th graders. So if you or someone you know has an upcoming 6th through 8th grade student, it's an all-day event for the students. And then I will be speaking in the morning specifically to the parents about how do we keep our kids emotionally healthy. Really important. So again, that's Saturday, August 23rd. That is in the Tampa Bay area. And the information to register is at drnekeshiahammond.com/events. And then the other event I'm super excited about you all, of course, because I'm hosting this one, is Friday, October 24th. This event will be in Atlanta, Georgia. I will be hosting. It's my second annual Growth Mindset and Self-Care Summit. Some of you guys came last year to the event, which was virtual. This year, we are doing it in person. I am super excited about that. It is in Atlanta, as I mentioned. It's an all-day event. I have speakers, like amazing speakers, because I know these individuals, they are amazing human beings. We're going to be talking about wellness. We're going to be talking about growth mindset. There's also a special self-care experience that I'll be having there, which I won't give away right now. And then we're going to do some networking as well. There's also another mini event after the event for those of us who want to stick around and do some networking and talking and community building, which is also important. So that information is at mindsettrainingsummit.com. So mindsettrainingsummit.com is where you can go to register. August 31st is the deadline for the early bird ticket. So if you're planning to come, please get your ticket at a time. You will save hundreds of dollars. So please get your early bird tickets. And again, that's October 24th in Atlanta, all day event. Super excited. I'll be hosting, and I will also be bringing a ton of amazing speakers and a really just fun, good experience. We're going to gather as a community. We're going to get better. We're going to learn mental wellness strategies, and I'm super excited to be hosting that. So, and if you all have any questions about it, you can always go to any of my social media, Dr. Nekeshia Hammond, send me a DM or send a message to drnekeshiahammond.com. Okay, I think those are the announcements. Yes. All right. So welcome again. Dr. Nekeshia Hammond here with your mental health moment. So today's mental health moment, I wanted to talk to you all about something. A lot of times, for those of you who are not new, we talk about things. This still actually relates to ourselves, and how we get better and how we grow as a person. Extremely important. But also sometimes we have to recognize that there's a lot happening around us too, right? So today's mental health moment, and you may be in this boat right now, and it's okay. Let me just preface this before I get started today. If you are in this boat, this is not a mental health moment for you to look at yourself and like have any sort of self blame, any sort of judgment. I can't believe who I am. Like that's not the point, right? It is about self awareness, right? We all need to take a look at ourselves. Sometimes there's things we need to change, things we need to improve, but hopefully from a judgment free zone, because a self blame and the harsh critic and the judgment of ourselves doesn't really help us, right? So let's try not to do that today. So today's mental health moment is all about like how do you sort of get into a mindset where you're protecting your peace, which has been a theme for the last couple of mental health moments, but also trying your best not to think about fixing everyone. So I feel like I'm talking to someone here, and it's okay. Like I said, if you're in that boat, we all have to start from somewhere in our mental health and wellness journey, right? But if you're in a boat, especially for my givers out there, you know who you are, or there's just people in your life, whomever that may be, that you are trying to fix, you are trying to heal them, but you're doing so much that you are getting burnt out, right? Like you are being negatively affected. There's levels to helping others, right? The first thing I want you to think about today, and for those of you jotting your notes, this is tip number one, right? Is to really recognize like, are you, whatever the situation is in your life? So maybe you have a situation right now where there is a person, whether it's your brother, your mother, your sister, your coworker, your friend, your neighbor, whomever. There's a person in your life who you feel like you're trying to fix. You're trying to heal them. You're trying to change them so much, right? And you're expending a lot of energy doing that. The first question I want you to think about is understanding like are you supporting them? Are you really truly supporting them, or are you trying to take responsibility for them? Right? Because there's a very big difference. Um and thanks for those who are starting to join here. But there's a very big difference in trying to support someone, which I would love to hear those stories. All right. Huge advocate. I work in the mental health field. I get it. Like, please support others. Extremely important. We all need support on some level, right? Please check in. Please be supportive. Please provide resources when needed. However, there's a boundary sometimes that needs to be set when you say, okay, am I supporting this person, or am I trying to take so much responsibility for what is happening with this person that it's to the detriment of your own mental health. That's not okay. Right? That is not okay. We don't so and I know a lot of this, it's not an overnight, it's not a light switch necessarily if you're in this boat, but I hope that today, on today's mental health moment, you'll at least maybe be at the step of some self-awareness, which is okay. Sometimes, again, you know what's interesting about self-awareness, you all? Sometimes we look at ourselves and we're like, "Ooh, we don't like what we see." Like, if you spend some silent time, if you think about your own thoughts or think about your life, like, we all make mistakes, all of that. But sometimes we don't take the time to examine ourselves because we're like, "Wait a minute. There's things we need to change." Right? But I'm telling you today that it's okay. It's okay if you're in that boat, right? But the first thing again to think about is that working on getting in the mindset of saying, okay, I really want to support this person, but I am not 100% responsible for their healing because you're not, right? Again, there's a difference of providing resources for someone, for being there for someone, for hopefully checking in with someone, especially people that you care about around you. But what I've heard uh, stories of is a lot of guilt sometimes of not fixing the person that they're concerned with. So that's the first thing to really be thinking about today. Is are you in a place where you're supporting this person or trying to take full responsibility for their own healing journey? And also, big asterisk, do not forget that we all heal in different ways too. Sometimes the way you heal from something, the way you've gotten through something is not the way that the person that you care about or the person you know that you're trying to fix is going to get through it. Like, that's okay, right? You may have, I mean, there's a lot of different ways to heal. So I could list like 300 ways, right? But you may have taken a certain path. You may have utilized certain, you know, things along your healing journey that worked for you that may not work for the person in front of you. And that's okay. We're all different, right? We all have different personality traits. We are unique human beings. We're not all alike. We have different needs. That is okay. So remember that too. The second thing is the second tip to think about today is asking yourself, here's another question to ask yourself, is this mine to carry? Right? Like, and that's a hard, I will say that is a really hard question. I know sometimes on mental health moment, you all, I ask you all to ask yourself things that are difficult that maybe you don't even know the answer to today, and that's okay. Maybe some of you, I know my note takers, because you all usually tell me in the chat. Maybe some of you are just jotting some things down. And you're like, you know what? I'm gonna deal with this tomorrow, right? Or I'm gonna start today, or I'm gonna start next week, or whenever it is. And sometimes you're asking yourself this question today, but you don't know the answer today. And I will tell you that that is okay. It's just something for you to be thinking about though and pondering. So again, whatever situation that you're in, whomever this is for today and whomever this is affecting, where you're trying to fix someone, you're trying to heal someone, you don't feel like it's working. Ask yourself, is this issue, problem, situation, is this mine to carry? And depending on who it is in your life, maybe it is a little bit, right? Maybe it is slightly your responsibility to help this person. But again, there's a difference between supporting them and getting to the point where you're not respecting your own boundaries, whatever that is, right? Because here, okay, here's the reality. Here's why this is important today. I have a couple more tips for you, but let me just take a pause right now. Here's why this is important, especially I'm going to talk to my givers out there, okay? Or caregivers, givers, whomever, like overgiving is a real thing, right? It will lead to burnout. If you are pouring, 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 again, it is so great to help people. Yes, please help support. But there's a limit that you have. You have to you have to be recognizing your limits and your bandwidth, right? It's and again, life is so busy, you all. It's so easy for us to not focus on ourselves. I honestly think, I don't know, let me know what you think in the chat, but I really think sometimes society is almost designed for just so much stuff going on. I feel like things are so busy. It's almost designed for us to neglect ourselves and not check in because there's so much stuff to do. And we are so much more accessible now. I mean, we have you can you can text someone, you can email someone. We have cell phones now, which was not a thing when I was a little kid, right? Like there's just all these ways that we're so accessible. There's so much going on in our lives, personal lives, what's happening on TV, what's happening in the news, like it's a lot. So it can be easy to not really be thinking about our own limits, right? But you need to be thinking about your limit. Okay. Which leads me to my next point. Is you really have to whatever you're at. I know, gosh, there's so many stories. I mean, many of us are taking care of people, whether that might be kids, your grandkids, maybe you're taking care of a parent. maybe you're helping out a coworker or friend or whatever situation you're in. Well, my opinion, I look at the world as mostly good. Yes, there's bad people in the world. Yes, there's bad things happening, but there's a lot of good people, right? And a lot of helpers. So I feel like you guys are here. So if especially when you're that type of person, you have to make sure though that before you are, sort of in the rescue mode, like the giving mode and the helping mode, that you're also in the recharging mode, right? So you're like, again, please give, please help. And also make sure you're recharging because you've heard the saying before, you cannot pour from an empty cup, right? So if you're just pouring, pouring, giving, giving, helping, helping, and you don't take the time to pause, we talk a lot about pause and taking those intentional pauses on mental health moment and recharging yourself, you are going to burn out. Then you can't help anybody that you were trying to help. They may need to help you. Actually, they may need to help you, right? Because you're so burnt out, right? Like, so let's not like it starts with again being aware, asking yourself those questions. For those of you just tuning in, we're talking today about how you cannot fix everyone, right? We can't fix everyone, we can't heal everyone. We can support people, but it's important like to find that boundary for you. And again, the last point was to make sure that you are recharging, right? In addition to the help, in addition to the rescue, in addition to you being there for people. Yes, do that and make sure you're taking care of yourself. Okay. This is the and conversation. And then the last thing I'll share with you today as I wrap up here. Um, I have no idea why there's so much spam here today. So for my Facebook people, you guys can just ignore. I don't know why that just happens certain times on my top moment. There's just a ton of spam. So ignore all of that. Sorry about that, you all. But nonetheless, the last thing I wanted to share with you all as I wrap up here. Hi from Fort Washington, Maryland. Welcome, welcome. Is to also recognize that when you're in a space again of helping someone, maybe you're a listening ear for them, right? Maybe they're venting, maybe they're talking to you. That make sure also that you protect your energy, if that makes sense. So again, yes, help people, but also understand that there's levels of not taking it all in and not being a sponge for you where you're so deflated, right? Now you're feeling negative. Now you're feeling down. Now you're drained of your energy, right? Like there's ways to be there for that individual and ways to help someone and ways to support them on their mental health and wellness journey, but also again putting those boundaries in place for you so that you don't get so drained that again now you can't help. Now you can't help. Now you're not productive. Now you can't do your job or be there for other people, right? So again, really important to recognize one of the things that you can do to also remind yourself is that the healing that this other person needs that you care about in your life, remember they're on their own journey too, right? You're on your journey, we're all on our individual journeys, but their healing is their own journey too. You can be a part of the process, but you don't have to be the whole process. So those are a couple of tips today that I want you to remember in your own mental health and wellness journey because we are a social, right? Social society here. So there's a lot of circumstances that you may encounter where you may get into a situation where you're like, oh, this person's asked me for help, whatever that help may look like, or maybe you're feeling like you need to fix someone, right? With whatever it is they're going through. I want you to remember to really think about being supportive, but not needing to take 100% responsibility for that situation that is happening in someone else's life, right? So protect your energy, protect your peace, which is important. We talk at length on Mental Health Moment about protecting your inner peace, protecting your energy, protecting recharging, right? Protecting yourself, honoring yourself, right? In this journey, and also still being supported. Um, as I wrap up here, for those of you who tuned in a little bit late, I will remind you, actually, I'll put it one more time in the chat, even though I apologize to my LinkedIn people because it doesn't go through for some reason. It only goes through to Facebook and YouTube, but mindsettrainingsummit.com. Do not forget to grab your tickets. That will be the October 24th event that I will be hosting in Atlanta. This year will be in person. Last year was virtual, but this year's in person. Growth Mindset and Self-Care Summit is going to be amazing. I have amazing speakers coming, a self-care experience. We're going to network. We're going to be in community. We're going to get better. We're going to learn the tools and also practice them, and also have a moment to network, right? So definitely grab your tickets before August 31st, I believe, is the end of the early bird ticket special. So get your tickets now before they sell out. This is limited seating for this particular event, and it is in Atlanta, as I mentioned. So grab your tickets. drnekeshiahammond.com/events are also where I have the other events coming up. If you want to be part of that as well. There's a lot of things that I learned. I'm like, I really wish I knew this 10 years ago. You know what I mean? Like, but just remember, you all, like, the we can only be better when we know better information, if that makes sense, right? So again, hopefully we're not coming from a place of judgment for ourselves. Like, there's just certain things like you learn along your mental wellness journey. And yes, you wish you learned it, 5, 10 years ago, but now that you know, then we can start to work to be better, right? That's all it is, right? So now you know, so now we got to do better. But it's all good. And thanks again so much, you all, for joining today. Have an amazing week. Be blessed. Remember, you cannot help every single person on the planet, but you can support them, but also make sure you're recharging and taking care of yourself too. So I will be back next week. Have a great week. Bye, you guys.